They have struggled in that the last 2 games.
Yeah, shooting about 25% from outside, and you have to think that Maryland is going to challenge them to knock down some threes on today, but it's going to be a fun matchup and an old matchup we used to see in the ACC, Mark.
A Sweet 16 Sunday is underway from Carmichael Arena. North Carolina in the white and the Carolina blue trim with the first possession. It certainly has an old school ACC feel. In 2026, it's Big Ten ACC. And the first punch is landed by Arnie Salo with a lay-in.
And it's a take to the rim. So, yes, Maryland is going to play them for the 3. But when they are playing that high, you have to take it off the bounce. Great take for Arnie Salo.
True freshman Addie Mack, the point guard, number 3 for Maryland. Sailor Poffenbarger. Garden Cared zone, outstanding three-point shooter, terrific look, and laid in on the other side by McLean, but Gaird's zone is shaken up. Well, with Gaird's zone being attended to by the athletic trainer, so with the injury, we'll take a quick timeout. Flagrant act. So watching Nia Navarre here, looks like she's trying to deny the pass and brushes up against Garzon's face and head.
Yeah, there was a basketball act. You can see that she was just trying to deny, as you mentioned, Alucci getting the ball, and you're going to see a lot of that. It's going to be a physical game, Mark, and it's unfortunate that Garzon goes to the bench, but hopefully she will be able to return.
So each team with a bucket on their first possession of the game. Here's Laney Grant driving. Rolls off the rim, but for a second straight possession, we see a couple of normally three-point shooters driving the ball to the rim, and Mack shoots a 3 for Maryland and knocks it down.
Addie Mack and Garzon are 2 of the corporates from outside that you have to find in transition. Addie Mack hit 2 threes in the first round. She's always trying to hunt easy ways to get it in the open floor.
And Mack had 18 points against Murray State on Friday in her 32 minutes. Here's Navarre. Kickoff. Offensive rebound. Put back is short that time from Nyla Harris.
And look how many black jerseys were around her to make sure there was 1 shot attempted. 3 black jerseys, making sure Nyla Harris was not on the glass.
Kendall Walker is in the game. She had a terrific contest against Murray off the bench with a team-high 20 points, but we've got to travel first.
And right away, you can see how North Carolina is challenging Alucci to knock down the 3. She led the Big Ten as far as guards with paint points. She finds a way to attack lanes and zones. So you can try and see how North Carolina is trying to cloud the paint just a little bit with her attempts.
Alucci got into foul trouble early on Friday against Murray State, which limited her playing time. Here's Harris spinning. There's an offensive foul as the elbow came up on the chin of Mary McLean.
It's an easy call to make, just that off elbow. It did not look like it was a basketball take. A bit excessive with the elbow coming through.
Definitely got that right elbow around. Here's Alucci Akanawa, number 7. Walker, long 2. Misses her first shot. McLean crashing the boards. Alucci comes up with it and gets fouled.
Again, the Terps are 12th in the nation with offensive rebounds. They have a knack for the guards even. Crashing the second, third tip lands in the hands of Alucci, who is so quick, such a force on the glass.
Head coach Brenda Freeze, season 24 as the head coach, or 27th overall as a head coach. So the second free throw makes it a 4-point lead here early for Maryland. Crossover on Isalo getting downhill again. I don't think it's a coincidence here, Angel. We're seeing the guards driving it to the rim for Carolina.
Showing their versatility.
Three-point shot. Poffenbarger short. Offensive board. Alucci had it and lost it out of bounds. And Alucci kind of was saying she did not touch it last, but the officials say it's Carolina ball.
But going back to Arnie Salo with a little bit of a shimmy crossover with the take. Nice way to set up her defender for their second field goal.
So Grant and Arnie Salo each with driving lay-ins in Carolina's buckets. And here's the post player, Harris, shooting a long two. Offensive board, Navarre goes up, and it rolls off the rim. Walker surveys. Back to the guard, the freshman Addie Mack. Addie elects to take another three. Hit one earlier, misses that. Offensive board, McLean. Mir passes out. He gets it right back from Poffenbarger. He wants to take Arnie Salo into the paint, does not. And some contact there from Grant on Walker. Foul on Laney.
Maryland already has 3 offensive rebounds. And just a gentle reminder that in their first game against Murray State, they had 33 second chance points. For Courtney Banghart, there were things that they were working on in their shoot-around to try and prevent that. I would not be surprised if things do not change as far as offensive rebounding. There's going to be a change on the defensive scheme.
Navarre trying to do what she does so well, and that's come up with steals and force the tie-up. Possession arrow keeping it with Maryland. Courtney Banghart, season 7 for her now. Just the 4th head coach in school history. Took over for Sylvia Hatchell, who is in the house today. There's a drive. Akanawa scores.
She just finds a way, Mark. She just has a knack for finding a way to get her looks off the glass, and North Carolina is very familiar with that, as she was the most outstanding player in the ACC championship game when she was playing for Duke.
Again, she had foul issues on Friday. I asked Coach Freeze yesterday at the workout, has that been a problem this year? And she says, yes, too many times she gets early fouls. And I'm like, we got to stop this. Stolen, the quick hands, Amir McLean. Maryland off to a 3 for 6 start from the field. Carolina 2 of 7 from the floor. Midway through this first quarter. Kendall Walker on the drive, and a crowd somehow got it up off the backboard and in.
How about Kendall Walker coming off of her own career high with 20 points, the first freshman to do so for Maryland in almost a decade.
Harris trying to clear some space with McLean on her back, and winds up walking with it. And that's the 3rd North Carolina turnover.
Some players in shoot-around, the coaches will call them out by their number. Not Alucci. Everyone knows her name because of her play. And Kendall Walker as well with a nice kiss off the glass. Her aggression, we're feeling more of that in this game. We saw more of the midi in the first round.
It's funny you say that, because like you said, all the Carolina coaches and players say Alucci, just not number 7, like you normally hear a lot of times in the scouting report. She gets a lot of respect, and rightfully so. Harris, well executed on the feed from Grant.
And her work was done early. Lainey Grant with a pinpoint pass to get her a no move necessary. Look at the rim.
Got Garzone back in the game, missed the shot. Arnie Salo makes a move. Oh, Azi Mamadou now in the game, blocks that away. And that's going to take us to a timeout with 4:26 to play. Well, kudos, Heels fans, for that. But Brenda Freeze and Maryland are back today. Laney Grant gets in the lane again.
Go figure, Mark, that right now it's a match where points in the paint, North Carolina is going to take whatever Maryland is going to give them on the defensive side.
Going to get Navarre. Didn't seem to be a lot of contact that sent Alucci to the floor, but Draws the foul, and that's number 1 on India.
Yeah, and that's a matchup you want to keep your eyes on because Alucci obviously very aggressive getting to the rim and to the paint. But overall, India Navarre is the best defender for North Carolina, so you don't want to see her getting in foul trouble early.
Kanawa, 77% foul shooter, missing the first. Salo comes away with the rebound as Economo missed both. And it stays a 2-point game. Grant looking for Harris, instead drives the baseline and finds enough space to lay it in again.
How about the backcourt for North Carolina? Saying, yes, we shoot the 3, but if you're going to hover us on the perimeter, the versatility to take it to the paint. So far, they have been very efficient. 4 points for both.
A 6-0 run here for Carolina to tie it up. Spin move. Ozzy Mamadou can't get it to fall. Grant has 4 early points. So does the other guard, Arnie Salo. Now Navarre trying to get downhill on Alucci and does so. And 1.
What I say about that matchup, Mark? 2 players very familiar with each other's games, and India Navarre said, if you're going to take it on me, I'll return the favor. Getting the high leg, meaning she was able to get the first step to the paint on top of Lucci and really put her in a position where she had to find some type of contact. Great take by India Navarre.
And able to draw the first foul on Alucci Economo, who now will take a seat with 3:12 to go in this first quarter. India finishes off the 3-point play. Carolina a 3-point lead. Maryland started 3 for 6 from the field. They've hit only 1 of their next 4 shots. Helped lead to a 9-0 run for the Heels. Go to Carolina push and foul. Nyla Brooks.
And I think
one on the freshman.
Mark, to your point of why North Carolina went on a bit of a run too, their personnel changed a bit. Sierra Toomey went to the bench, and then you insert Nyla Brooks, who has more of a versatility with getting to the paint, but also defending as well, and her speed and athleticism. So it will be that type of matchup of seeing what works best.
It's interesting to see the 2 coaches moving the puzzle pieces around here really early in this game. But when you're fighting for a chance to go to the Sweet 16, there's some urgency. McLean pushes it to a 1-point game. She has 4 points. Navarre looking to get downhill again, and that's blocked away. Poffenbarger. Get the foul in transition. So that's number 2 on India Navarre, and that is significant with still just under 3 minutes to play in the first.
So both best defenders are on the bench now. Alucci Economo as well as India Navarre, but what a block, just protecting the paint by Sailor Poffenbarger.
Garzone is at the line. 93% foul shooter. And hits the first. What that makes, she's 27 of 29 from the line on the year. Breaks the tie. 14-13 Terps. Interesting that North Carolina, 10 of their 13 points have come in the paint. Have not attempted a 3, and they go to the rim again with Nyla Harris.
Because they were trapping on the wing, a nice dive by Nyla Harris, who was unguarded, dashing to the rim.
Matt getting downhill. Lena Arnisalo, Finnish native, transfer from UCLA on the take. And a team that attempted a school record 43-point shots here on Friday against Murray State is just living in the paint.
And has not attempted 1 today.
3 left side, too long that time from Poffenbarger. Arnisalo, high pass, Layla Hall. Just trying to save it. Came down out of bounds with it.
Look at this screen. She realizes that her defender, Poffenbarger, is now trapping. The nice wherewithal to dive and slip to the rim for the finish. And then Alina Arnisalo, we see you getting to the rim, known for her three-point shooting ability, but such a strong player attacking the paint.
Maryland hasn't had a field goal since the 5:20 mark. In this first quarter, they've missed their last 5 from the floor. You see number 0 in the game, true freshman Rainey Wilson for the Terps. Poffenbarger 3 for the right wing this time. Rattles out, tipped out by Hull. The Toomey who's checked back in. She feeds Arnisalo. Here comes Alina. She goes to the left hand and takes it to the rim again.
Oh, March is marching.
8 early points for Arnisalo, but before the shot from Wilson, a Carolina blocking foul.
Alina Arnisalo averages about 12 points per game. She's already sitting at 8. Your name has to be called in different ways during March. Right now, she has a sense of urgency to say, you're going to have to stop me. We heard it in the huddle for Maryland saying, go take it. Well, right now, Arnisalo is saying, I'll take mine.
Arnisalo picked up the foul. She was a part of the UCLA Final Four team last year, but as Coach Banghart said to us, he said, look, last year, her main responsibility is, hey, feed Lauren Betts. And there were a few other things, but that was the main priority. She says, we ask a lot more of Arnisalo than UCLA did. And
then Arnisalo is also in the starting rotation because Renaya Kelly, one of their starters, who started about 20 games a season, is out right now due to injury. So we're not sure she'll be out for the rest of the NCAA tournament. But for Arnisalo to step up in the likes of a name of Kelly, she has done her job well.
Kelly hasn't played since February 5th. There's a steal picked on the run. Gare zone. Quick pass. Under a minute to go, first quarter. Hold defends. Gare zone between the legs. Kendall Walker. Step back from the left elbow. Tough shot. Offensive board. McLean trying to find the pass to Walker, who gets shaken up behind the play, and it's a 5-on-4 the other way, but slowed down.
North Carolina is building a wall against Maryland, and it's working.
3. Freshman, Nyla Brooks.
Who would have thunk that the first 3 goes down for the freshman, Nyla Brooks, who has started to come alive in the last few games.
First 3-point attempt of the game for the Heels. His fans are into it. Not much different. Shot clock, game clock. Terps can basically hold it for the final look. She'll shoot with 8 and swish it. Garzone. Can they get it in time to get a shot off? Down to 1 from beyond half court. Well, what a first quarter for Arnisalo and North Carolina, who have a 4-point lead at the end of 1. Take a look at some of the 30-point scores just in round 1.
I mean, it's been so impressive in the round where everyone's trying to move on to the next. As Alucci comes in and says, I'm trying to make a name for myself too, was battling with the 2 fouls in the first quarter and right away makes an impact on the inbound.
Yeah, that was a steal for Alucci, but quickly the other way, Toomey lays it in. So North Carolina responds right back after turning it quickly over to start the second quarter. Maybe an extra step, but got it up off the backboard. It comes back out, and Poffenbarger's 3 pops out. But there on the rebound is Alucci. Just bided her time.
There's something about Alucci where she just exerts so much energy on the offensive and defensive end. I'm starting to think that she does pick up quick fouls on purpose, just so that she can get a quick blow.
Maryland did not shoot well to end the first quarter. They had just 1 field goal in the last 5:20 of the first quarter. Arnisalo, her first shot in the second quarter. She had 8 points in quarter 1 and 7 points total in the game Friday.
Yeah, I mean, it was just 2 for 8 from the field. Didn't knock down a 3, but this is what her game is. Finishing in the paint, but also look at this box out. Look at those quads working. I mean, she just finds a way to get the extra possessions for Maryland.
was interesting to hear Coach Bangard talking about Aluchi Akanawa. She said she is an elite level player, if not just for her competitiveness on both sides of the ball. 7 turnover. Again, she had foul issues on Friday against Murray State. 7 points in just 14 minutes. Had a couple of early fouls. Almost lost the dribble there.
Now, let's be very clear. She did spend some time at Duke. So this is still very much a rivalry in her veins. And
she just transferred from Duke. She's been a couple of seasons and played very well against North Carolina. And in this building, Ozzy Mamadou, after missing the lay-in, commits the frustration foul.
We knew this game was going to have this type of temperature as far as the physicality, it being a battle in the paint. I didn't know which style was going to work. For North Carolina, they're more finesse, getting to the three, getting to the paint and kick. But we've seen them really take on the physicality. And Lainey Grant says, but we can also do that too.
Well, they attempted only 1 3 in the first quarter, which was a make by Brooks. Lucci has it blocked by Layla Hull, but it's going to stay possession with the Terps.
But going back to what you said about the chess moves, all in the first quarter, the guards were going downhill, trying to guard the paint. The second quarter, yes, you're going to counter and say, you don't have to fall back so much in that paint area. If you do that, I'm going to step out and make the three. So just knowing where your points come from.
Well, they left Laney wide open for that three the last time down the floor, and losing it out of bounds. Maryland turns it over. This time Max stays with Grant. Fouls are all the way down. Oh! Count it! From close in, a big rainbow splashed in.
It has been the backcourt that has set the tone for North Carolina. This time, Lainey Grant coming out, already knocking down the three. This time saying, get big. Draws the contact, creates the finish, and one with a little bit of a, I got this. After, my goodness, Lainey Grant, the youngest player on this Carolina squad, playing like a seasoned vet.
18 years old. She reclassified out of her senior year a year ago and played her freshman year here for Carolina as a 17-year-old. Kanawa. She wants it back. She's going to set a screen. Hoffenbarger floats it to the corner. Catch and shoot three. Nope, don't worry about it. She stepped on the sideline. No shot. A turnover. It's 5 turnovers for the Terps. Eight-point lead for North Carolina is their largest of the game. Brooks fires. Couldn't finish it. Hoffenbarger weaves, pass a little behind Akanawa. Lucci stops, 14-footer. Out of bounds to Carolina.
You can see how North Carolina is going over the screens for Aluchi because the help from the center is coming up to stop her from getting into the paint. And that has to be a conversation that Coach Freeze is having with Aluchi about where and when to attack.
It almost feels like both teams have kind of caught their breath here a little bit. It was a mad dash from the beginning. There was no like feeling each other out early in the game. It was full on from the tip. Picked off by Addie Mack. Addie picks the dribble back up, lays it in. Great coordination to stay with that. 5 points for the freshman. Long three, this time short. First three-point miss for Carolina after they hit their first two. Pull up. Walker can't hit the 14-footer. Salo coming right back, and then gets it tied up. Or are we going to get a foul? Coach Freeze wants to travel. The players want to tie up. The officials determining what the call is going to be here. I think we had 2 different calls. Well, they're going to say tie up. So we give the possession to Maryland. Zillick is suffering. Vinnie Robinson. He seals the 3-person crew. It is Carolina ball. They give possession nonetheless. They do get a turnover here.
Nice read by Salem Poffenbarger.
Max just trying to save it. Miraculously did to Walker. An open 3 for Poffenbarger. Coming down with McLean, got it knocked out of her hands. It's India Navarre who comes away with it for Carolina.
Seeing a different look for North Carolina. Maryland had 7 offensive rebounds in the first quarter. That has not been the case. But how about Nyla Harris saying, but we can clean up on the opposite side.
Cleaned up the missed 3 from Hall.
So one-on-one box out with Nyla Harris winning the battle. Nyla Harris leading this team in points this season, and it's how she does the work in the paint.
Terps foul on McLean, her first. A transfer from Louisville, spent 3 seasons there. All ACC this season in 2026 as well.
Yeah, had a great career at Louisville, but said, I wanted to get a switch up. So called Alyssa Usby. Some North Carolina fans may be familiar with the name, as she led them in double-doubles and said, I want to see how I'm challenged with Courtney Banghart. And she's had a phenomenal season in her first year with the Tar Heels.
Wolves have opened up a 9-point lead. Mack. Salo, long pass. Walker went for the steal. And the easy lay-in there for Harris. Brenda Freeze wants a timeout.
There were a few times in shoot-around where we got the word excellent from Courtney Banghart. This is an example of that. Arnie Salo understanding where Nyla Harris is with a beautiful...
Taylor, thank you. I hate the news about Zoe Brooks. We've seen her play a number of times for North Carolina State. That's a big blow. But the ladies' points on what's going on here at Chapel Hill, spot on when North Carolina's opened up an 11-point lead.
They have 24 points in the paint. We highlighted Maryland for what they were able to do in round 1. Well, North Carolina is saying we can do the same. And this has been a complete balance for them getting to the paint.
Whistle. Get foul on the freshman Henderson. Maryland started the game 4 of 7 from the field. They're just 4 of 19 from the floor since then.
Banghart has been switching up the defense a few times down the floor. It's always going to be something different that they're going to take a look at. We saw zone once or twice as well.
Back. She's not afraid. I mean, the freshman is confident all over the court.
Well, she's a student of the game, and she knew that when Nyla Harris went under the screen, that was a bad idea. Addie Mack in the range, in that mid-range area to knock that down off the screen.
A little over 4 minutes to play in this first half. Winner heads to the Sweet 16 in Fort Worth. Hole 3, a little bit long. Looked like Henderson was going to come away with the rebound for UNC. We got a bump, I think, maybe from her own teammate, and couldn't come up with it. Here's Mack on the drive. Ball going out of bounds. Mack wisely decides not to touch that while she was out of bounds, and they're going to keep possession. Maryland had an early 6-point lead in this game. That's a 3-year zone. Zone was 1 for 5 3-point shooting in their first matchup against Murray State here on Friday.
Mark, and Garzone is also, that was her first attempt from outside. This is the one that led the Big Ten in 3-point shooting.
Malucci with the theft from Arnie Salo. Blocking foul on Arnie Salo. Malucci down. Courtney Bainrock doesn't like the call. India Navarro was also there defensively. They give it to Arnie Salo, and that's her second. Navarro already has 2.
But yeah, Brenda Freese just a sigh of relief knowing that Alucci is going to be okay on the hop-up. But Alucci in the Elite 8 game, or their last game here while she was with Duke, had 6 steals. They are very aware of how good she is. I mean, she's all Big Ten on the first team, honorable All-American as well, but also on the first team all defensive. So when you're thinking about all the things that she can do, she's very active. You have to have an understanding of where she's on the floor.
Well, for the 6th straight year, every NCAA Women's Championship game is on the networks of ESPN. For more information, go to ncaa.com. This is a Sweet 16 Sunday. First of 6 games here on ESPN. You got 2 on ABC as well today. North Carolina has turned it over 10 times, yet have built up as much at one point as an 11-point lead. Now at 8.
And now Maryland showing a little bit of their full-court press just to slow North Carolina down.
2 fouls Arnie Salo, 2 fouls Navarre. Tried to punch it in to Harris, but their zone apparently a push from the backside. First one on Yarden zone. Welson's going to take a spot on the floor of Akanoa. Comes out with 2:57 to play first half. Inbounds, Navarre. And Garzone picked up another quick foul. That time she was just trying to keep Navarre from getting the easy lay in there. They put Navarre at the line where she's a 59% foul shooter. And today, as that goes through, is 2 for 2 from the line.
We cannot say enough about how India Navarre has really amped it up in her senior season, and one with her and Nyla Harris saying this is going to be the team that we have to be. Showing the balance, but after their Notre Dame game, they only lost 1 in closing before the regular season, and that was to their rival in Duke. But they said, it's us. Losing that game by 20 points, they had to find a way to come together. We're seeing how the chemistry has been built so far.
Arizona's pass intended for Walker, broken up and stolen. India in the lane, going after her own miss, tipped out by Poffenbarger, and on the run comes Addie Mack. She has Garzone with her. Walker.
North Carolina is taking up everything, the drive, the transition, the trail.
Garzone this time on the drive, able to take it in.
Beautiful take by Garzone. Has to get herself going right now as they're looking for someone on the offensive end.
She has 6 points. Missed her only 3-point shot of the day. India got tripped up as she was trying to pass to Brooks. Walker with her first foul. Puts UNC back at the foul line here with 2:01 to play. This is that after hitting her first 3 from the line today. That time as Carolina scored from the line here recently. They haven't had a field goal in the last 3 minutes. The take India's spot. So with those 2 fouls, 2:01 left, pretty good chance maybe we won't see her till the second half. Three, Garzone, short, tipped out by Poffenbarger. Mack lines up a 3 from straight on and nails it.
I mean, she was waiting to see if she was going to be the first line of defense for a transition defense, but walked straight into a 3.
10 points for Mack here in the first half. She had 18 against Murray State on Friday. Lead down to 6. Wilson going for the steal, almost got it. That left-hand dribble. That has been maybe the most impressive thing for me in this first half for Carolina, how their guards are getting to the rim.
It's like they understand how they're being played, Mark. And the pressure we've seen, but just really understanding how to attack the gaps.
Mack to the corner, open look. Short from Wilson, gets her own miss. One dribble, back up, yes! Nice play by the freshman.
Surprised there was no contact called on that take and finish.
Inside the final minute of this first half. Oh, was looking for Harris instead, and Arnie Salo 3. Swish. What a first half for Arnie Salo. She has 13.
She is playing like a woman possessed.
Mack, blocked by Hall, 5 seconds. Carolina with time, behind the back, gets it off in time, but partially blocked, and that takes us to the end of the first half. But North Carolina down 6 very early in this game by 9 at the break. You see the game summary. They did wind up shooting 5 more threes in the second quarter. UNC did 3 of 6, but Maryland only 2 of 12. The paint points were a big story in favor of the Heels. Freshman Addie Mack, double-digit scoring. Arnie Salo's been a huge story with 13 points, but Arnie Salo really has been coming on more as a scorer as the season has gone on for UNC.
Yeah, absolutely. She has led them in scoring 3 of the last 5 games, including the ACC tournament. So that's what I love about the balance of the scoring for North Carolina.
And immediately, Maryland comes out with first possession and the ball in the hand of Addie Mack, knocks down a 3, and she has 13.
And she has 2 of the 3s that have been knocked down. It's very interesting as you can think about Yarden Garzone being the player that led the Big Ten in threes made, and she has only got 1 off. Excuse me, Garzone is 0 for 2 from 3.
See how the chess match plays out here in the second half. With a trip to the Sweet 16 on the line, the winner advances to Fort Worth, and their Sweet 16 matchup will be against the winner of tomorrow's game between UConn and Syracuse. Laney Grant gets her own miss, goes back to the right side. There'll be no third try.
The pace looks a little bit different for Maryland coming out of halftime.
Akanawa got a grab from Navarre. That's going to be quickly her 3rd foul. Let's see, they changed that. That's not a foul. That's a break for Navarre, who had the look. When I looked at her face, I'm like, oh, she just got caught with her hand in the cookie jar, but they just turned it right back over here, make it a moot point.
And with some of the full court pressure that Maryland was showing, and it wasn't even pressure, they just made North Carolina think and made North Carolina commit the turnover.
Sailor Poffenbarger, watched by Sierra Toomey, goes to the offside and is just picked up by Harris. North Carolina led by as many as 11. They have not lost a game this year when they've led by 10 or more points. They're 23-0 in that department. We'll see if that holds here. Maryland has cut it down to 6. Back this time, watched by Arnie Salo. Now Grant as they switch. Lucci high off the glass. And now there's a whistle, and now there will be India Navarre's third foul. So she's the first of 3 personals on either side in this game. That is big just 2 minutes into the second half.
Alucci can do many things well. Offensive rebounds, check. Getting to the paint, being aggressive, check. But she can also be a stylist. And that's what I love most about her stories, that these women have incredible stories off the court as well. Styling with Lucci is to show that she is established. She said one of her favorite styles came from Mir McLean. She's styled a lot of different teammates. She said she's going to continue it. She said she had a lot more episodes last year, but she's been so dialed in this year that she hasn't been able. She said, I'm actually having fun playing basketball, but keep the content coming.
You see what she did before she shot the first free throw with her hand and then big deep breath? That was kind of styling in itself. Just get ready to shoot a free throw.
I'll take that.
Navarre stopped for the moment by Poffenbarger. Open look, Artie Salo. Just a hair long. Rebounded off the floor by Addie Mack. Freshman on the run. Addie's had a spectacular game here to this point. Feeds Poffenbarger for an open look, around and out.
She is desperate for a made 3, sitting at 0 for 6 from outside.
Now it's Grant's turn. She misses the 3. Skyen for the rebound. That time was McLean.
Mark, I think in the last 3 possessions, we've seen more 3s that were attempted than the first half.
Yes, definitely the first quarter. Back to Alucci underneath. Oh, no, for North Carolina. That's going to be number 4 on India Navarre.
You mentioned the chess match. What do you go back at halftime and discuss?
Do you say, hey, Alucci, and Alucci may have said this and said, hey, I'm going to get India in bigger foul trouble.
Look, Alucci comes across, oh, excuse me, that's actually Mir McLean, who had 14 rebounds in round 1. The ball movement finding Alucci on the block. Has to finish at the free throw line. That is something she has struggled with so far today.
Let's watch her live here. Well, she didn't do the hand thing that time because the second free throw missed them both.
Alucci is shooting 3 for 10 from the free throw line right now, where one part of the game planning is get India Navarre in foul trouble. Also reward yourself at the free throw line.
India has come out with 4 fouls. Just 3 minutes into the second half. Arnie Salo and Harris weren't on the same page. Up ahead, Alucci had to contort herself to come up with the pass. Puts it off the glass, got her own miss. Now Toomey ties her up along with Arnie Salo. I'm going to say held ball and possession on UNC.
Yeah. Maryland put themselves in a position where they had a 3-on-1 opportunity, but the pass came late to Alucci. She actually had to reach back. So Alucci will get the blow, and then Kendall Walker will check into the ball game for Maryland, a player that was outstanding. And as I mentioned in the first half, that had the 20 points as a freshman for the first time in the NCAA tournament in her debut. In over a decade, that hasn't happened.
Just got a little bit of look at the token pressure. And Arnie Salo bides her time and lays it in. Maryland's pressure defense has really been effective at getting them back into games at times this year. North Carolina, by the way, was 0 for 5 from the field to start the third quarter with a couple of turnovers for the Arnie Salo make there. One dribble, McLean kisses it in.
Mir McLean, one of the seniors and one of the players that leads by example. Had a double-double with 19 and 14 last game. She does a little bit of everything. And so does Helena Artisalo, who is really carrying it over from the first half. The balance, she was leading them in scoring at the half.
McLean trying to clear some space. Poffenbarger. Still 14 to shoot. And a kick there by Arnie Salo. We'll reset it to 20. This is just a short time ago. Wow. to read lips there. Yeah, that's coach and star player having a moment there.
It's a reset, though. And the biggest part of that is, I believe in you. Now go and deliver. And I'm pretty sure that's a lot of the conversation that they had when she was in the transfer portal and decided to come and commit to Maryland with just a day, saying, I want to be challenged by Brenda Freeze, and that's exactly why.
She just takes it to the rim. Now has 11 points, going for the steal here. And look at Coach's reaction. I mean, what was a one-sided conversation, to say the least, has turned into quick production here from Akanawa.
I mean, stars have to want to be coached. And you can see right here, she was saying, I got you, but wait a minute, let me give you this message. And sat her for one play and subbed back in, and the very next play that she was subbed in, look what happens. Alucci to the paint.
Maryland, Coach Freeze, Alucci, Akanawa. Should we say they had a moment a short time ago, and Alucci has responded to that moment?
I just love when a player can receive the message from coach. Like, you only have a little bit of time to say, this is what I need from you. And sometimes it's passionate, but how she received it coming in, I think the message was absolutely received.
Winner of this game punches her ticket to the Sweet 16 at Fort Worth. Arnie Salo has scored the last 9 points for North Carolina going back to the second quarter. Someone other than Arnie Salo hasn't scored since the 5-minute mark of the second quarter by Harris, and that changes right here. Thanks to Laney.
Yeah, Laney Grant right now with 12 points. She's shooting 50% from the floor. And I know a lot of conversation has been around Arnie Salo with the 17, but Laney Grant has been balanced for the backcourt as well.
Wide open three, in and out, and it's been tough going. With Sailor Poffenbarton just can't get one to fall.
That looked like a couple of threes I saw last night that could have extended some seasons.
Men's game, Vanderbilt, Nebraska. That's going to take us to the under 5 timeout. It's going to be Maryland ball when we come back. We're going to punch a ticket to the Sweet 16 later today at Chapel Hill. Well, one of these teams is going to be punching their ticket to the Sweet 16 soon. This is not the first time those two coaches have coached one against one another for a trip to the Sweet 16. Before North Carolina, Courtney Bangart was the 12-year head coach at Princeton. She was the National Coach of the Year in 2015. Went to the second round against, who else? Maryland, Brenda Freeze. Princeton season ended by 15 that day, but the ladies are matching up once again for a trip to the Sweet 16 today.
The more things change, the more they remain the same, right, Mark? And it's fun to see them battling against each other, and also seeing some throwback pics of Bree Jones, who right now is with the Atlanta Dream.
Here kept it alive. Reversing and scoring, Alucci Akanawa now with 13.
It's almost like you need to track her stats, the pre-talk and post-talk, because she has come out on fire.
It'll be 4 points since the talk. We'll just put it that way. The one-sided talk. Alucci did a lot of listening. It seems to be paying off. Some contact. Walker ran into Hull. I give that to Arnie Salo. That'll be her third. That's a key foul there. She has 17 points to lead all scores.
Kendall Walker has been so impressive to me, and she's just a standout type of personality. Gets it done in the classroom, but also we're glad that she chose basketball. A standout in tennis as well, won the Junior U.S. Open tennis title. Also played some soccer, but this is young Kendall Walker. Got to meet Sloane Stevens, and what I'm aware of too is that she was also able to spend some time with, if not the best player in tennis, the best player in the world, with Serena Williams and Venus as well. So that's really cool to see that. And then obviously her dad. I love that she said, I wanted to play basketball because my dad was a Hall of Famer at Holy Cross. Her brother actually was a walk-on at UVA. And she said there was a time where she played soccer and basketball. She had a game on both days at the same facility. She played the first half of the soccer game and went to play the basketball game in the second half.
That's dedication. Grant lays it in. By the way, you saw her dad there, Bill Walker, briefly, who is in attendance. It had gotten down to 3. Now it's 5, and trying to respond once again. Unable to come up with the bucket that time for the Terps. Lost by Artie Salo. They got numbers here. Nalucci. Cole coming back to defend. And one. Akanawa has come alive after the talk. And Maryland continues with this rally.
If you're trying to keep up with Alucci in the open floor, it's like watching her in a track meet. An and one opportunity. She's just so quick. She welcomes the contact and the finish there to make this a one-possession game.
This is where she's had some issues today. And that continues out of bounds to UNC. Maryland as a team barely shooting over 50% from the line. Akana was now 3 of 11 from the line.
And they've got to figure it out. They have shot 19 free throws compared to North Carolina's 7. So rewarding themselves there. It could be a flip score if they connect at the free throw line.
Kendall Walker foul away from the ball there. That's number 2 on Kendall. Midway through, or 3/4 of the way through, I should say, this third quarter. Salo trying to clear space. Tough shot. Off the heel, battered around, going out of bounds to Maryland.
You can see Thaisa Queros also getting some more tick in the absence of India Navarre, who's on the bench right now, dealing with some, well, actually, she's at the scores table, so we'll see her in the last 2 minutes or so in the third quarter.
Hull able to make the defensive play there on Alucci. Now ball loose and taken away by McLean.
Missed an opportunity to find Lucci under the basket. She was left alone.
Garzone, can she get one to go? And that one a little long. Alucci, bodies on the floor. How about that effort?
It's the fight. This means something. You don't get to walk away from this game and say it was a learning experience. We can bounce back. You win or you go home. And Lucci looks like she's leaving everything on the floor. The battle. A foul was called. Now it's up to Maryland to knock down the free throws here.
And Arnie Salo picked up the foul, so now she is at 4 personals. So you have Navarre and Arnie Salo each with 4. India's checked back in. Boy, the free throws are absolutely a big problem for Maryland so far in this game.
And they shoot around 77% on the season from the charity stripe.
1 of 2, so they're 11 of 21 from the line. Pulled it down to a 2-point game. More token pressure.
Slowing it down.
Saved by Navarre to keep it from going into the backcourt and committing a turnover. Arnie Salo wide open 3, but it's well left. And going out of bounds.
And that could have been a missed opportunity for Mir McLean, who got sucked into the paint too deep to have the closeout on Alina Arnie Salo, who has been lights out in the first half. She's pulled off since here in the third.
It's been a while since the Terps have had the lead. They were up 14-13. It's under 3 to play in the first quarter, led by as many as 6 early in the game. Ball gets loose. Lucci. Laney able to feed Navarre from the deck and then able to get some help, and there's a foul.
And Alucci is still on the floor. Not sure if it's just pure exhaustion or if she might have had some contact on that collision trying to fight for the ball on the floor. I mean, I know this is basketball, but it's starting to look like a pile on the football field.
A little rugby.
You try to look how you can survive the pile.
Inside the final minute of the third quarter. He gets it back from Harris. Nyla rolls, kick out. That's a 3. And 3 missed by Tisa Cueros, but Harris picks up the foul. And that's going to take us 46 seconds left.
Yeah, it has been a...
And the free throw line.
Sorry, Mark. It has been a challenge for North Carolina to get some type of rhythm in the second half of this third quarter. They're being outscored 15-8 in this frame, and Maryland has found themselves at the free throw line again. Could possibly tie this.
Gets the first. The coverage of the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship continues on CBS, TBS, TNT, and True TV. For tournament game times and networks, go to ncaa.com. Hit them both. Walker knocks him down. The game is tied at 50. Our first tie since it was 13 all. Loose. Picked up. Hoffenbarger gets it back, lines up a 3. Navarre battling. North Carolina ball. Well, not only is it the free throw line, but it's the three-point line that is a problem for Maryland. It is 17.
But also, Sailor Poffenbarger just 0 for 9. One of those has got to fall.
Heels holding it for the final shot of this third quarter in this round of 32, winner to the Sweet 16, down to 7. Grant can't get it to fall. Kicked around, and time looks like it has run out here on the third quarter. It has indeed. Maryland down at the half and come back to tie it in the third. What does the fourth quarter have in store in Chapel Hill? A trip to the Sweet 16. We are headed to the fourth quarter with a trip to the Sweet 16 on the line. Winner of this Chapel Hill bracket will face the winner of the UConn-Syracuse game, which is tomorrow night here on ESPN at 6 o'clock Eastern time. Maryland was down 9 at the half. They came back to tie it, and a big reason was Alucci.
Well, Alucci, as you've seen, as you said, got the talk. And Brendan Free said, you got to believe in yourself. And her response is, I do. I want this moment. And since then, in the third quarter, she had 7 of Maryland's 17 points. She was relentless. She had 4 turnovers before that talk. Only 1 since then. Right now, Alucci is just playing phenomenal basketball.
Here's a look at today's slam dunk matchup brought to you by Wendy's. Anisalo on the bench right now with 4 fouls. And she got Akanawa. Seems to be finding her game as this game has gone on. Here we go. Fourth quarter, buckle up. Navarre with some moves, but couldn't finish it. On the drive, Walker. Nyla Brooks did what she could defensively, but picks up the foul, and that's her second.
The thing that impresses me most about Maryland is the adversity that they had to go through throughout the season, taking a few bumps because of injuries. They have 4 players that are out, 3 that are missing because of knee injuries. In that, other players have been able to step up, including Kendall Walker, that was getting very limited minutes in January, now has an opportunity to just shine on this stage.
Their first lead since the first quarter when it was 14-13. That was with a little under 3 minutes left. His dad, Bill Walker, as his daughter drains both free throws. It's been a rarity for Maryland today. And it gives him a 2-point lead, and Kendall with 10 points.
She tied the game at 50 and has put them up by 2. Free throws matter. Maryland has to continue to connect.
Here's Anisalo. She has 4 fouls. Navarre also out there with 4 fouls for UNC. Screen to the bucket. Great pass. India Navarre. Tremendous speed to tie it.
They have to continue to go to that. Harris is open one-on-one every time. Walker with the Nyla Harris on her before. We were able to get set.
That was a dangerous pass. And Maryland is fortunate to keep possession.
So it's the dive to the basket. She did not get it on the first attempt. She continued to work across the lane and gets it on the second try for the finish.
There's zones 3 from the corner, missed. Lucci couldn't save it before it went out of bounds.
My eyes would absolutely down the floor be on Nyla Harris. How can you continue to feed her in the paint?
When she's getting that seal, she's unstoppable. This time she's got Poffenbarger on her initially here. Now, handoff. Navarre downhill. Got it.
You don't carry over fouls to the next game. India Navarre has to be in the ball game right now, playing with force, still being aggressive.
Akanawa. McLean elects to take a very long 2. We got a lot of time to think about that one.
Yeah, they baited and waited. They fell in the hands of Laney Grant with a great box out on the perimeter.
Running shallow, Walker stops her on the baseline. Laney Grant. Let's see if they're going to count that. They are. The continuation. And the crowd reacts to that. If they realize what they just saw.
The setup, Mary McLean didn't have a chance. Reached in and absolutely an and one for Laney Grant, who had the balance to finish on the left. How impressive has she been in this ball game? But you mentioned it, just how she's been able to step up over the course of this season. She has led them in scoring 6 times, 3 of the last 5 games as well on the season.
A little 7-0 run here for North Carolina after Maryland had taken a 2-point lead. Akanawa splitting a couple of defenders. Second opportunity, back up McLean. Try number 3, does it for the Terps that time.
Now you see why they are top 12 in the nation on offensive rebounds. Just got pure athletes at the rim.
"16 offensive boards for Maryland. They turned into 15 second chance points. We just saw 2 of those. Arnie Salo tipped around. Arnie Salo able to get it back after a couple of Terps were able to get at least a finger or a hand on it.
Mary McLean, she just looks gassed. For a second, she was just like, oh, trying to dig deep.
7 to shoot. India being aggressive again. Draws more contact. And a Maryland foul. First foul on Sailor Poffenbarger.
You see a team in Maryland right now where coach at the beginning of the game said elite teams don't get tired. You got to go take it. And they're in unfriendly territory right now for North Carolina, hosting once again at home and trying to take an opportunity to get to the Sweet 16.
Navarre misses the first. You know, Maryland, because of some stumbles down the stretch, it looked like perhaps at one point they were going to get a chance to host again. Did not. North Carolina gets it. And that's why we're sitting at Chapel Hill today. Got it to go. Sends it to a 2-possession game. 3 minutes gone here, 4th quarter. Open 3. A miss by Mack. An aggressive rebound by Harris, who was getting a contest on that rebound from Garzone. And Yarden picks up the foul, her 4th.
North Carolina's defense has been the story to me. It's how you take away the strengths consistently throughout the ball game. Everyone has to be dialed in to what the scouting report is. And right now they are daring Maryland to shoot from the outside and make, and they have not. 3 for 19 from outside.
Late sub as Garzone comes out. Well, Maryland had just taken their first lead at 52-50. First lead since the first quarter, and since then North Carolina's responded to go back up by 6. Navarre looking at Harris, well guarded there by Poffenbarger. Nyla wants to use the dribble. Oh, Poffenbarger thought she had verticality. Not the way it is seen. It's adjudicated as a foul. That's number 2 from Saylor.
Yeah, her hands are up until they weren't, and that's the left arm coming down over the hands. That's an easy call to make.
No question. It's hard to fight that reaction as a defender, I bet, for that arm not to come down to try to get a block.
It is, but discipline.
Yes. Second trip to the line today for Nyla. Big, deep breath. The senior transfer from Florida. He hits the second. Gives her a dozen points. The Tar Heels lead is 5. Now it's a big possession here for Maryland. They need a bucket. 6 minutes to go.
Trying to go against the zone, see where they can attack the seams, and right now. Wow, Poffenbarger 0 for 10 from outside, and they've looked like that every time, in and out.
It just has to be soul-crushing as a shooter to have that happen. That is ridiculous how many times it looks like it's going in and it pops out.
I didn't even shoot it, and I feel like it would crush my soul to see it happen that way. I mean, she continues to try and see if the one will go down.
Well, the foul line continuing to be an issue for Maryland. It got a little better the last few trips. And it doesn't get any better this time. Missing both, and it stays a 5-point lead for the Heels. What a steal, McLean. And they get points that way.
We're used to seeing Alucci tracking the ball all the way up the floor, and Mira McLean stepping up huge for the steal.
That pressure defense has really helped Maryland a lot of times this year. Almost about to get the call as far as getting the ball across midcourt, but then McLean crashed into Arnie Salo. Picks up her 3rd foul.
And now North Carolina in the bonus.
McLean, by the way, with that bucket, now is a double-double today at 10 points, 11 rebounds. For her 2nd straight game in this regional Chapel Hill.
I'm right there with you. You almost want to see for Maryland if they can force the pressure just 1 second longer.
That's all it would have taken. We were this close to getting a 10-second call as Arnie Salo knocks down the first free throw.
Free throws have been an emphasis for North Carolina, especially in the second half of the season, where they surged from being at the bottom of the ACC in free throw percentage and were able to have a 15% boost since. Can they continue that and finish at the line?
Ironically, it may be their free throw shooting today that puts them in the Sweet 16, but still over 5 minutes to go. Tough shot from the free throw line. A miss by Walker, a rebound Navarre. You're right about the free throws. At one point early in the season, Coach Behart said we worked on it, and then we just had to stop and just get it out of their heads on the entire team, and then they were able to turn things around. Five to shoot. Grant gets in the lane. Off the left side. Harris keeping it alive. The fresh 20.
Eating clock, setting things up. Courtney Banghart giving the signal to slow down. But Addie Mack right now is on Nyla Harris. They got to find a set for her.
5 to shoot. Spinning. Here. Navarre finishing. Double figure scoring for India. Been playing with 4 fouls for a while. Has 11 points.
I guess that's a good look, too.
Pottenbarger reverses and scores. Like, if a 3 ain't going to fall for me, I'm taking it to the rim this time.
Her first field goal of the game.
And a big one. They're pulling back within 5 as we're under 4 minutes to go. India has Mir defending her, gets her down low, miss. Pottenbarger on the run out. Pottenbarger almost stripped by Navarre. 3 Gerzon, another one won't fall. But a foul on Cueros as it's going to take us to a timeout with 3:27 to play and a trip to the Sweet 16 on the line. The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? 7 left. We'll get you to Minneapolis when we're done, but we'll see how this one closes out. The first team to punch their ticket for the Sweet 16. Will it be Maryland or North Carolina? Maryland ball out of the timeout. Dangerous pass there. Their zone, and Navarre touched it last.
Anytime India Navarre is involved in a play where she's defending, you just hesitate slightly. I mean, she walked away with a triple-double, just the second in program history with 10 steals.
Another huge possession here for the Terrapins. Here McLean heads off. Tough shot, 3. Missed by Gerzon. We're going to get a foul underneath. And a push on North Carolina. It's Laney Grant. Just a 4th team foul. The inbounds on the baseline for Gerzon. Quick catch and shoot. Rebound. Alucci, Akanawa. Huge basket for the Terrapins to make it a 1-possession game. 3 minutes to go in Chapel Hill.
I gotta remind myself to breathe in this game is so good.
Alucci and Navarre, the collision. It'll be number 3 on Akanawa. And it's going to be putting North Carolina at the line.
Just look at the effort. Coming in, tracking it down, and 3 players that are like, does she get to the rim? Yes, she does. As we mentioned at the beginning of the game, she led the Big Ten as far as guards with points in the paint. And it's been on display.
You know, it's incredible the high motor speed of Alucci at all times. It's not like she takes some defensive possessions off or something off. It's going 100% of the time. And it's incredible. Incredible to watch.
The motor. But it's not just the motor, because some people can have the motor and not have it consistently. She has to fight the will as well.
Well, this time it's North Carolina at the free throw line that keeps Maryland in a 1-possession game.
Gerzon trying to use her length on the inside instead of trying to find herself on the perimeter. And especially going at India Navarre with 4 fouls.
It kicks off. Navarre did everything she could not to pick up her 5th foul. And it paid off that time. Salo had a huge start to this game, been a little quiet since, but Matt, touch foul there, stops it with 2:08 to go, and for Addie, her 2nd personal.
Yeah, you just gotta check. You gotta trust the second line of your defense, because with the stop, you pick up a foul, but you also put them back on the free throw line for the rest of this game.
Back will come out. Kendall Walker returns for the Terps. Salo makes it a 2-possession game. 20 points. Lena Arnisalo will make it 21. Okanawa.
Wow.
Incredible. 19 for Alucci. It's back to 3.
In the Sweet 16 game a season ago in the tournament against North Carolina, she had 12 and 12.
And the freshman Nyla Brooks with a massive 3 for second of the game. 90 seconds to go. Okanawa, dangerous pass. They're fortunate once again they didn't lose possession. Still 16 to shoot.
I think she was banking on the backdoor cut, but Indy Navarre read that. She has such a great ability to anticipate where her defender is going, and really wanted to come up with that steal. Again, their zone going at Indy Navarre. Now they're trying to bring in the help.
Couldn't get that shot to fall. Bounced off the back and side part of the rim. But she'll shoot 2. Laney picks up her 3rd.
I mean, the freshmen have stood out for today. Nyla Brooks, foot behind the line, drains it. A huge, huge 3 for Carolina.
Going to do a little offense-defense sub. They get Navarre out to try to keep her from getting her 5th. Put Layla Hall in. Carolina's got plenty of timeouts to work with. So does Maryland if they need them. And boy, the free throw line has just been unkind to Maryland.
It's not just the free throw line, 53%. It's the three-point line, 13%. Something's got to shake for the Terps.
That's a bad combination to try to win to get to the Sweet 16 when those two things aren't working. North Carolina can eat some clock. We come up on the 1-minute mark. Final minute of regulation. Five to shoot. Laney by Walker.
Laney Grant wants this moment. It's been fun to watch.
Take a look at our Capital One rewarding performance. Some huge moments for the sophomore today.
Laney Grant came out and said, I am going to deliver in a major way. It's been also Lena Arnisalo who's been getting to the rim. 4 players in double figures for North Carolina, but none bigger than Laney Grant on this take that blew the roof off Carmichael Arena. Everyone understands how big this moment is, and Laney Grant leading the way right now for Carolina.
And Maryland has made it to the Sweet 16 round 4 the last 5 seasons. Tar Heels went last year. Lost in Birmingham to Duke to end their season a year ago. Trying to make it for a 2nd straight year. Now, not much time. Alucci trying to go to work. They need buckets in a hurry. Trying to find space. Brooks, great defense. Staying with the Terps.
We're going to see some offense, defense. Now, Indy Navarre getting a little blow. We're coming back in.
3-possession game right now. Not a lot of time. Okanawa fights through and scores. 21 for Alucci. And it's going to be North Carolina using one of those timeouts. With 35 seconds left. 2-possession game. It's at 6.
but making them foul you too. Take as much time off the clock as possible.
Get it in the hands of Grant. She's being chased. Stopped with 31 seconds left. Well, if Maryland cannot overcome this late deficit, they're going to look back. 3 of 22 three-point shooting and 15 of 29 from the line.
Yeah, that doesn't put you in a winning position. And for North Carolina moving forward, I know this is going to be probably a long 31 seconds in this ball game. Only 2 players are shooting above 80% for North Carolina. That's Alina Arnisalo and Lainey Grant at 82. The timeout was called because of her take to the rim. She wants these moments. And I just remember her conversation with us saying, like, coaches want the ball in my hand. Sometimes I have to believe it for myself. And we're seeing the belief in this ball game.
Now Laney has 20, and Maryland will burn one of their timeouts. Sophomores really stepped up here, especially late in this game.
Laney with the drive, one of the biggest buckets that we mentioned that led to a timeout, made it more than a 2-possession ball game. I think the most important thing about this is that this team, after last year losing so many big pieces, and Alyssa Usby, and Maria Gakdane, Alexi Donarski, players that they felt like coming into this season, without them, they would have to do a quote-unquote rebuild. And Courtney Banghart said, I'm not reading any of that mess, and I hope you aren't either. And that's where the It's Us came into play. And Lainey Grant has been huge. Elena Arnisalo has been huge. But you got to credit the seniors. And Nyla Harris as well with India Navarre.
We need points in a hurry.
You got to find Lucci, too. The 3 has not been working. How do you get downhill?
3, Poffenbarger. And a whistle stops it with 16 seconds. While we have a moment, let's check in with Taylor in the studio.
If you're looking for Ole Miss, Minnesota, have no fear. It's over on ESPN News right now. That one just tipping off as we finish up Maryland, North Carolina with Mark and Angel. Great one, battle to the finish, guys, there in Chapel Hill.
Taylor, thank you. 16.2 left. It was an 8-point game. India just fouled out. She gets a big hug from Coach Banghart, who's banking on the fact that this is not going to be India's final game of the season.
She left it all on the floor. We'll see how this one comes down to, but for Maryland, it's how they finish at the free throw line. If the 3 ball isn't working, the free throw line must.
Hits both. It's back to a 2-possession game with just 16 seconds left. Toomey comes in to throw the inbounds. She can run the baseline.
And then also Kendall Walker checks back in for Addie Mack.
Stolen. Well, almost a tremendous play by Walker right along the baseline, trying to throw it off Grant after she came up with it. But
and that's why it's so significant, Mark, because of Kendall Walker's ability. She's very quick. That footwork from tennis, soccer, whichever one, we see it.
Can't run the baseline now, but Toomey gets it in regardless. Underneath, Harris. And it looks like the finishing touches to make it back-to-back trips to the Sweet 16 for the first time in about 11 years. It's been an incredible game to watch for so many reasons, Angel, and a lot of it is what we talked about at halftime, and that is the chess match between these 2 coaches and these 2 teams. They've gone off tendency at times, have done some things we haven't expected, and it's been fascinating to watch.
Yeah, absolutely, but as a team, a coach can give you all the different scenarios, all the different ways in which you have to win, but you have to control the controllables. How many times have we say that we have seen Maryland on the season go 13% from 3? Also, in March, free throws matter, and right now they are sitting at 54%. A lot of those moments, especially in the third quarter, they could have had the advantage because of the free throws that they left on the table.
Maryland had an early 6-point lead. Were able to come back in the third quarter, take a quick 2-point lead, but really for most of the game have been chasing North Carolina today.
I think from the very beginning, your eyes were glued on what Lainey Grant and Alina Arnasalo were going to do. They didn't attempt a three until about the 5-minute mark in the first quarter.
It only shot 1-3 the entire first quarter. 9 seconds left. Taking it to the rim. Near, missed it. And that's how it's going to end. 74-66. North Carolina. The Tar Heels, the first team to punch their ticket to the Sweet 16.